What is going on? I am going to talk to you today about testosterone, guys, and I'm going to talk about how it works, how to do bodybuilding with it, how you should start it, and everything you need to know. Well, before I start, let's just say that this video is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. Don't do as I do. Just take it for granted. And let's start off with testosterone. Now, we all know that testosterone is basically the building blocks of a man. It's our masculine hormone. It's our king hormone. It basically helps us with all our main functions as far as like sex drive, energy, recovery. It has tons of appliances to the body. Okay. Well, if you're a novice in this field and you want to become a bodybuilder and you don't know what you're doing, well, the way you want to start is by simply starting low. Now, you can go on forums and click away and you'll read all kinds of stuff and you'll get a bunch of bull crap on there. You know, they'll tell you start at 500 milligrams. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with starting at 500 milligrams. The problem is that you've never taken this before. And when you're starting out, you need to assess how your body reacts. And also, there's a few mechanisms that the more testosterone you take or the higher the dosage, your body might not be able to handle it properly. So how I would go about this if I was you is very simple. Start out at about the normal hormone replacement dose, which is about 200 milligrams. And what you want to do is you want to stay there for, I'd say, a good 4 weeks, right? If everything's going good and you're not getting estrogenic side effects, like you're not bloating, you're not getting itchy nipples, or, you're not having high estrogen, spikes where you just don't feel right, or maybe emotional. Well, here's the thing. That means you're in the clear. Probably means you're doing okay, and it also means that you're probably ready to start this journey. So now you want to do this when you're in shape. You don't want to start this really when you're overweight because your estrogen is going to be really high. So make sure you diet down, get cut first. Do not do this until you are able to successfully have a leaner body. I'm talking like under 12% body or so. And when you get there, then you are free and have my approval, so to speak, to do that. Now, after about 4 weeks, you can start going to 250 to 300 milligrams and 400. This is like every 2 weeks. You should be bumping it up slowly so your body is getting used to it. Once you get to about 500 milligrams, you're really in the starter zone for, being really not natural. Like it's like beyond TRT plus, as some of the young guys would say. You want to be just hanging around at the 500 mark for a little while. And what I would do is stay there for about 4 months, 5 months, and just see what you can do with that. And your body should change. You're new to the hormone, so to speak, at that level. And this will give you time also for your androgen receptors to really upregulate. And testosterone tends to make you have more receptors that can actually hold the hormone basically and attach to. That's why guys get sick when they start out. They get like the flu, they get all this kinds of crap. It's because your body isn't ready for this dose yet, and you're pushing too much on it at one time. That's why you hear these guys, like they get test flu, they call it, right? Where you have to take Tylenol. You're like sick, but you're not sick because it's not a real cold. It's just your body's immune system is basically out of whack for like a week or two, and then it goes away, and then you're kind of back to normal again until you probably do too much again. So hang out at 500, enjoy that for what it is. And then what I would do is, if you want to up your game, start with an oral. A little bit of Anavar might not hurt, or Anadrol, 50 milligrams, or Anavar at 25 to 50 milligrams for another, keep that in there, maybe 12 more weeks, and you can build off the 500 dose. You don't have to go any higher because now you have the Anavar in there, or the Anadrol at 50 milligrams, and you're going to make gains off that, and you should be healthy at those dosages if you stay around 50 milligrams for either one. Anavar, you might have to lower it. Some people get like leg cramps or something. Like I've had like a Charlie horse from before. It's not fun, but it can do that to you. So hang out there for maybe the first year, and then your next year do 750. and hang out there for a little bit, and then do the same thing. You do like 750 milligrams of a test with, maybe some Anavar, or you can start a second compound. You can throw a little Masteron in there, like 300 milligrams, or I wouldn't say Deca, because Deca is like really not needed unless you're like an older guy. You might want to do like, for your joints and stuff, you can do that. But if you're like, 25 to like 30 or 35, maybe 40, you don't really need it just yet. I think it goes over like 45 really for like joint health, unless you have really bad shoulders or something. I'm not saying it doesn't build muscle. I just think there's better compounds to choose. So now you can pretty much get to that point where you're at about 750 milligrams a test, some Anavar, and then you have a third compound in there like a Masteron or a Primo. But Primo Bone is kind of expensive, and it's not really for starters because of the price point, I would say. Masteron or Equipoise, around 600 milligrams to 300 to 600 milligrams is a good adding dose, and this will also help you control your estrogen a little bit. And I would just hang out there for like maybe a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, and just play with the orals a little bit. If it's summertime, sure, throw a Winstrol instead of the Anavar. Do 50 milligrams of Winstrol or 80 milligrams, and that'll help dry you out a little, keep you up. And I would just say stay on the orals at least 10 weeks. You can do that. It won't kill you. But you may want to take a break, 10 weeks on, 5 weeks off, 10 weeks on, 5 or 6 weeks off. Because most people don't check their blood work like they should. That's why I'm suggesting it this way. Now, if you check your blood work and your livers are good, your enzymes are good, everything's on point, then you really can just stay on, and as long as your blood work is good, it's really not a problem. And I would just stick to that, just stick to the basics. Test is best. It's your hormone that your body knows how to use properly. Keep it always as a base. And sure, there's times when you're looking to cut, things change a little bit. You might have to lower it to get a little drier. But ultimately, you don't really need as crazy as you think to get a good physique from all this stuff. I've made some crazy transformations, not even just off a gram, a test, and some Anadrol. And, it's really the food is really a key thing in all this. Most people take the stuff, but they don't eat. They don't eat enough protein, or they don't have enough carbs, or they eat too much fat in their diet, and then they get like that from eating too much fat in their food. Just keep the fat low, carbs high. At least as long as you're not getting too overweight, you should be good. Should be putting on plenty of muscle. And summertime rolls around, drop the test back to 500, and throw in the Winstrol with and the what you reduced on the testosterone to like say 500. Add more Masteron in, and add Winstrol or Anavar. You'll have a nice little cut for the summer. You'll be drier, you'll look harder, do your cardio, and you'll be rocking and rolling. Most guys don't need that much. The guys that go to the Olympia, they're abusing themselves. They can only do it for 10 years. If you're not going on stage and you don't need 300 pounds, it's kind of ridiculous, really. And, a lot of guys, they think they need to be like blasting, but the truth is, if most people don't let the gear do the work by eating and training hard enough. And then on top of that, you can, add some growth hormone in there. I would start at like 5 units a day. If you like, you can go up to 10 if you're not getting like water retention, or some people get like numbness in hands or edema, whatever they call it, in their ankles and stuff. Most people don't get that issue though, because the GH that most people get is generic, and generics tend to have some diuretics in there, from what I've been seeing. The pharmaceutical stuff is expensive and it's a ripoff, so I wouldn't even bother with it. You just basically want to stick to generics, unless they're like rich and don't care. That's really all I got in this one. But yeah, testosterone is king. And the further you want to get bigger, the more you can up it to, as long as you're not experiencing side effects. You want to put test as high as you can go safely with it without getting in trouble. So, but if you're gonna push the test up because you stuck at a weight cap and you've been already pushed your food, but you're getting too much fat, and now it's time to up the dose, then you might want to make sure that you have some Aramidex around or some Aromasin to help keep your estrogen under control. Like I said, Masteron can help with this because it lowers your estrogen a little bit or controls it better. Same with Equipoise at the right dose. But the thing is like, unless you're a person getting blood work, you really don't know where you stand with your estrogen. And you just want it in range. You don't need it high, you don't want it low, you don't want to crush it. You just want normal levels of estrogen in your body. So just make sure that I would do blood work at least every 6 months if you can't afford it. It's like $200. It'll probably save you some trouble. Most guys don't get blood work done, and they don't even know what's up with their bodies. So yeah, just do that and just rock it. You probably don't need more than 1,500 milligrams of test for the average guy who wants to get jacked in the gym. And then just play around with the other compounds and just keep it either 1-to-1 ratio if you can handle it, and your test isn't, your estrogen isn't getting crushed by the other compounds by too much of them. Because DHTs tend to lower your estrogen or control it better. So like things like Primo, Masteron, Anavar, I think Anavar, yeah, and maybe like Winstrol. Those tend to have stronger binding affinity to the androgen receptor, and they'll help also your estrogen under control. So that's what I really got on this testosterone video, and how to start your cycle and how you should manage it, at least for the first 3 years. If you want to get bigger and crazier and freakier, you're gonna have to put your health on the table a little bit, because to get to those sizes that some guys want to get to, it requires a little bit of abuse and watching out for side effects and managing your health a lot more. And for testosterone and starter kit, I think this is the best you can get on the market. So, like I said, this is just a video for be informative. This is all for entertainment. I am not a doctor. I'm just going by sharing experiences that I have done myself, and want to share this with you. Rock on.